But, hey, he's calling in right now and joining us. Let's talk some Eagles football with our Eagles beat reporter right here for The Gambler, presented by Cure Auto Insurance, the one, the only, my man, Mr. Adrian Fedke. Adrian, what's happening, man? How you doing?
I'm feeling pretty excited, man. The end of the preseason is finally here. And, here's the funny thing about this preseason.
Wait. Stop. I just want to say this. You sound lovely.
Oh.
You sound lovely today, man.
Oh.
Listen to that clear connection. Were you calling me from a solo cup yesterday? A solo cup and string. Answer the question. Did you call me from a solo cup and string?
Possible. It's very possible.
Oh, my goodness.
1930s phone, telegram,
I want to give him a roaring round of applause. Nice work.
I got a new phone.
You got a new phone?
I got a new phone.
Oh, I'm so proud of you. You sound crystal clear right now. Like I could hear everything. Crack a Coke. I got you. All right, I apologize. Keep the energy going. Eagles preseason 4 going tonight. What's on your mind?
Yeah, so, listen, this preseason, it's been kind of brutal. I know Doug Peterson loves that Haagen-Dazs, and that's exactly what it's been, plain and vanilla. But here's what we're looking at tonight. Deshaun Hall, this fourth defensive end spot. So when Chris Long retired, Michael Bennett was traded. I was wondering where the depth at defensive end would come from. So you got Josh Sweat, you got Deshaun Hall, and you got Sharif Miller in the mix. But Hall has been the one who's really charged up the hall, pun intended. So he's got 8 tackles, 3 sacks, 2 forced fumbles. He's been a beast. He might have even surpassed Josh Sweat on the depth chart. I think he and Sweat make this team. Mm-hmm. And the interesting thing here is what they do with Sharif Miller. Is this where one of those phantom IR situations might come into play?
Wouldn't shock me. It would not shock me.
Potentially, because it's tough to put him on the practice squad. Mm-hmm. He'll probably get plucked, so we'll see what happens with that.
What's some other roster spots that you're seeing are up for grabs tonight, or tonight's game could have an impact on?
Yeah, so 5th wide receiver spot. Does it go to Mack Hollins, the special teams ace, or
is he really
Greg
an ace?
Ward?
Can you really say he's a special teams ace?
He's probably the best special teams guy on the roster in terms of defending it.
Really?
Yeah.
All right.
Mack Hollins, you got Greg Ward in the mix here. He's second on the Eagles right now in receiving this preseason. 6 catches, 87 yards, showing some quick jitteriness from the slot. So is it going to be him or Mack Hollins for that 5th wide receiver spot? I think this is Hollins' spot to lose. I don't think Ward is going to get it, but this is a bubble spot right here. This is one to look at. And another thing to look at is potentially, do the Eagles keep a 5th safety? Because I think Jonathan Cyprien is going to make this roster. So does a guy like Rudy Ford make it? Because they just traded for him last week, and you bring him in. He's also regarded as a special teams guy. So if you have him on the roster, maybe you cut a guy like Mack Hollins, and that's how you get a Greg Ward on the roster.
Well, Jeff McClain put his out, his 53-man prediction at Philly Inquirer, but they removed Philly.com, which is just crazy. He's got Alshon, Deshaun, Nelson, JJ, and Mack on the team. Cut Greg Ward, Charles Johnson, Markin, Carlton, and DeAndre Tompkins. So, yeah, he's kind of seeing the same thing that you are as well.
Okay, yeah, Greg Hall, he's been, knocking at the door for the last couple of years, and he just hasn't quite gotten there. He's got one more last chance tonight, so this game is all about him.
What do you think JJ is going to do this year with the Eagles? Like, what's the expectations for him going in?
Yeah, I'm excited about what he could potentially bring in the red zone and what these red zone packages are going to look like. So J.J. Arcega-Whiteside, you're going to have Alshon Jeffrey, then you got the tight end, Zach Ertz, Dallas Goedert. So all those targets inside the 10-yard line for Carson Wentz. He's a guy like Alshon who can go up and get it, so turns 50-50 balls into 80-20 balls, and that's something that J.J. Arcega-Whiteside can potentially do for them in the red zone this season.
Let's talk a little bit about the running back situation. I'll tell you what he's got. He's got Miles Sanders, Jordan Howard, Darren Sproles, and Corey Clement only carrying 4 this year, cutting Josh Adams, Wendell, Donnell Pumphrey, and Boston Scott. Whatever happened to Donnell Pumphrey? I thought he was supposed to be a stud. Anyways, what's your thoughts on that? Only keeping 4. Do you agree?
I agree with that. Corey Clement was the 4th guy I've got on the roster. I think he solidified himself last week, had some really good runs against Baltimore. So Wendell Smallwood a little long in the tooth. He's been here. He's been struggling in pass protection. I'm just ready for him to go. And then Josh Adams, you got to be able to catch the ball out of the backfield in Doug Peterson's offense. He's been kind of struggling in that area, a little stiff coming out of the backfield. So Clement gets it over him. I agree with that.
What do you think it will be the mix this year? Adrian Fedke, first of all, from PhillyInfo.com, and, of course, Eagles beat reporter here on the Gambler. What do you think will be the mix? Maybe not game one, but tell me, we're 4 games into the season. Eagles are 3-1. What are we looking at in that backfield mix between Miles Sanders and Jordan Howard? How do you see that playing out?
Yeah, that will be interesting to see how they divvy up the carries, because I was a big Miles Sanders guy coming into the draft. My number one running back coming out, that vision, that jump-cutting ability once he gets into the second level. And you look at what this Eagles offensive line, the dominance that it possesses, and if they can start making blocks along the boundaries and get to the second level and really set him up, he might be looking at the number one running back spot. By the time, first month, even week 8 rolls around, I think he will be the leader in the touches in the carries department.
Who's playing quarterback tonight? Who's making me change the channel first? Do you even know the Jets quarterback? Could you tell me who's playing quarterback for them tonight?
Oh man, I don't know about them tonight, but I know Clayton Thorson is going to be airing it out for the Eagles a lot tonight. He's battling. He's not going to make this roster, probably the practice squad, but we're going to see a lot of him tonight.
Yeah, that's the problem. It's just this quarterback play. I can't get past it. It's very, very ugly. Any other roster issues that you see could be answered tonight?
Yeah, so I'm interested to see what they do with linebackers here.
Okay.
Because there's been a guy by the name of T.J. Edwards who's stuck out a little bit. So do they keep 6 linebackers? You have Nigel Bradham and Kamu Grugier-Hill dealing with their kind of respective nagging injuries. Grugier-Hill going to miss the first couple weeks. We'll see about what happens with Nigel Bradham. But do they try to keep 6 guys, and does T.J. Edwards make this team because they need a little bit more depth with the injuries? That's the guy to look out for tonight in terms of the linebackers.
Joe Douglas, taking on Joe Douglas, our guy Joe Douglas. How much of a loss do you think that's going to be next year?
I'll tell you what, it's going to be a lot more emphasis now with Howie Roseman, and it's a little less experience now in the scouting department. I was a big Joe Douglas guy.
Me too.
But he's got his own thing now with New York, and he's got a bigger opportunity, and we'll see how he does with it.
Great spot for him. Adrian Fedke on the Gambler right here, talking all things Eagles as preseason finally is over. All right, let me ask you this one, Adrian. Defense coordinator Jim Schwartz did not want to give an answer the other day. He was saying, you know what? You're going to have to find out who our starting cornerbacks are. Obviously, Ronald Darby will be one. Who's going to be filling in the other side, and do you think there will be a little bit of a mix and match as they go?
Yeah, that was funny. He and Zach Berman had a little spicy exchange. Lots of sarcasm.
I love a little spicy exchange.
It was great.
Yeah.
It was great. So here's the thing about this. Sidney Jones, the second-round pick from a couple years ago, I'm not really liking what I'm seeing from him. So a lot of off coverage in Jim Schwartz's scheme. He's more of a press-style guy, and he just doesn't look comfortable. When I'm looking at James O'Shaughnessy, beating him on post patterns, and when I'm seeing him just not trusting his instincts, not trusting his eyes, not breaking on the football, that makes me believe that Rasul Douglas is going to get the other starting spot. Because in the slot, you're going to want Avonte Maddox in there. So Rasul Douglas alongside Ronald Darby will be the 2 starting corners to start the season.
Won't people be upset if Sidney Jones is not the starting cornerback? Like, won't people be revisiting that draft, saying we made a mistake if that's the case, or no?
Potentially, but I'll tell you what, Rasul Douglas was taken in the 3rd round of that draft.
That's true.
Right after Sidney
You're
Jones.
right. You're right. Very good call by you, Adrian. I stand corrected. Hold up. Hold up. All right, what other battles do we have, as far as defense is concerned? I know Fletcher Cox. What are we looking at with the Clowney stuff? Do you think there's any movement that favors the Eagles landing him at this point in time?
Yeah, I mean, as the time goes on, that's the more and more leverage that Jadeveon Clowney possesses. And Howie Roseman's, obviously checking that phone line periodically. And he's trying to get that price down. Trying to, not give up that big draft pick, if they can get Clowney and not have to give up a first or a second, where they can give up a package of, say, Nelson Aguilar with his $9+ million gone at the end of the season. So Aguilar, maybe a big V, and I don't know, a third-round pick, if that gets it done. Or I'm hearing the reports that it might not even take as much as that.
Yeah.
So I would definitely bring Clowney in. Again, going back to what I was saying the other day,
Yep.
I'd love to bring him in for this season and then let him go at the end of the year, get that compensatory pick, and then reset once free agency starts at defensive end.
Adrian Fedkiw, make sure you follow him on social media at Adrian Fedkiw. That's Fedkiw. I know we touched the board yesterday, but give me one matchup that really has your eye for opening weekend for the people that missed. Give me one game circled right now on Adrian Fedkiw's calendar. He's like, you know what? Not the Eagles and Skins. One game opening weekend that you can't wait to see.
Well, we start a week from today. 7
yes, we do.
From now. And this is an exciting game for me because I'm really curious to see how Aaron Rodgers, how Matt LaFleur, and this offense looks like. And obviously going against a very stingy Chicago Bears defense, the new monsters of the Midway. So can Aaron Rodgers get it done opening night, Thursday night, against the Bears, getting all this hype? I like the Packers to win the NFC North. The Bears now playing that first-place schedule. Packers really flying under the radar. So that's the game I'm looking out for. I'm looking at the Packers winning that game outright.
Nice. How much does that phone cost you, Adrian?
About $20.
Beautiful. That's what I'm talking. Where'd you get it from?
Walmart.
That's what I'm talking about. Didn't I tell you go to Walmart and buy a $20 phone? And you did. And that's what I'm talking about. Adrian Fedkiw, you're a team player, my friend. I greatly appreciate you hopping on here. Good stuff. And please make sure you read them at PhillyUnderstood.com. We're just getting warmed up. Next week we'll be in studio and Sunday live at Xfinity Live. Nobody knows the birds quite like Adrian does. And thank you for a couple minutes, Adrian, man.
Absolutely. Time for me to get that Popeye's chicken sandwich.
Right, exactly. Do that. Good stuff, man. All right. That's Adrian Fedkiw. You can follow him. Hey, like I said, at Adrian Fedkiw. Does a great job. And fire him any questions, comments, concerns about the Birds roster. As hopefully we'll have all of our answers tonight. And, it's go time now. You know.